Hey, so welcome everyone. We are in book club. I'm just going to pull up the slideshow here. There we go. And there's one more thing I have to do here. Great. Okay, so it's already August the 10th. I can feel it in the air. It's changing a little bit here in Vancouver. And 2026, and we're in the umbilical chakra today with the Divine Mother and the Law of Change. We're going to go deeper into that and pages 256 to 260 in Home to the Heart. And so we're with Albert Einstein, the fourth dimension. Archangel Jophiel just taught us awe, and now we're with the Mother. Okay. So yes, and if you'd like to listen to the Mother, it is a fantastic channeling. She is really powerful through this yellow dot, and just scroll down till you hit the Law of Change and then hit the audio. And there's always a preamble between Linda the channel and Susie the host, or Graham and Susie, depending on when it was recorded. And you can skip that if you don't want to listen to that. Sometimes it's pretty interesting. And then I've always got the meditation time and when the being who is channeling or who is teaching comes through. So you can skip through forward if you want. Okay, and let's welcome everyone. Got lots of energy here today. The Porlana Sea energy that's swirling around the planet is very electric blue. It's a great one to breathe in and work with, especially with the Divine Mother, but it is from the Galactics and the Mother. And it's really getting into that deep, deep forgiveness, knowing everything is forgiven, and hope and trust and faith, all the blue. Receive, relax, remember who you are. We are all masters here. So welcome and thank you to our galactic friends, to the Divine Mother or Universal Mother Mary. There's many, many names for her. The mighty archangels, Sanat Kumara, our universal logos, the ascended masters, the enlightened beings, beloved saints, especially to our guides and guardians who are with us 24/7, and to Gaia for holding us. And if you feel like you want to put the cloak on, this is real understanding of how much everything is forgiven, how to come to peace, trust of self, your freedom, your truth, your power. Relax into the energy of the Mother, receive, remember. And mostly everything is coming through the tri-flame in the heart. So this is a wonderful tri-flame to study. I've learned more contemplating the tri-flame in the heart than anything. We are letting go all suffering. The suffering is our creation. So Archangel Michael wants us to understand our feelings, the emotion of doubt, that our creation of the serpent in the Bible, in the holy books, was our doubt. So it's our lack of self-worth and confidence, lack of certainty, and the belief that somehow we would be punished. And we are really letting that go right now with this latest portal opening. So it's just good to know. The Divine Mother really wants us to surrender and be the love. Let the pain flow through you, out of you. So let that old serpent just flow away. And if you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like laughing, laugh. There's real deepness in the stillness, getting into the stillness and knowing there's always movement, even in the stillness. If you can get into joy, appreciation, awe, and gratitude for suffering in the body or the emotional field, it really helps. So just recognize that you're not feeling great. Be grateful for it because you're moving energy out of your body, but also collectively. And yeah, being able to giggle about it as well is helpful. But it takes mastery to do that, just like the Hathors said. So they say, even in the darkest moments, if you hold appreciation and gratitude, unexpected, auspicious moments and situations will present themselves to you. So the healing can come in almost immediately. And I witnessed that on the weekend when I got the right supplement, and it happened. But that was really guided to get to the place where it was and just take it. So that's what they're talking about, the unexpected auspicious moments. But it's practicing being that real deep gratitude for the pain. And if you can, to be able to laugh. Easier said than done, but it's a practice. Yes, Stefan or Jane?
What I may have missed part of this earlier on, Kathleen. What supplement were you directed towards?
Oh, I got a UTI on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cranberry, but with D nanos in it.
Okay.
Yeah. hmm And so, yeah, it immediately lifted any kind of pain I was in. But I
So you didn't need antibiotics.
not at all.
Do they typically treat UTIs with antibiotics?
Yeah, if you go to a proper pharmacy.
Right, right. But you went into a naturopathic situation and got good information.
The one that's connected to Save On Foods is called Pure,
Yes,
Pure Pharmacy.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. Karen Warm Buddy just got in some of those. It's all 1/3 of them are owned by Jimmy Pattison, hence Save On Foods. But I really like their business model.
Yeah, it was started by a woman.
Yeah, a pharmacist.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they're usually connected to naturopaths, a whole slew of a clinic with naturopaths.
That's how a pharmacy should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But the reason I think it came up was I was practicing a breathing exercise, but I'm going to go into that because we carry our sorrow and shame right around our middle often, the stomach area. And I had been practicing this breathing exercise, and I'm sure I brought that UTI on myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
More work to do, eh, Kathleen?
Oh, there's always more because
Like it's just you're never done.
you're never done, and we're actually working collectively. Like once you clear it out of yourself, then you can volunteer and say, well, I'll do it for the collective.
Oh, I need a break.
Well, you can request that. If it's
Hmm.
too much, you can say, put me on sabbatical. That's been done to me several times.
Mm, thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah. So just know the mother is everywhere around us, in all of nature. And especially if you look in the mirror, just know you're looking at a reflection of source because we're all birthed of source. And she is reminding us not to judge, that there's no judgment in the higher realms. So within nature, the flowers don't hold one more beautiful than the other. They're all just being. Same with the animals, same with the trees, same with all of nature. They want us to get to that, like that too, where there's no hierarchy. Archangel Michael, and I've said this before, he says he is equal to a blade of grass. And this is one of the mightiest archangels. So there's just no hierarchy. Everything is important.
Wow.
Everything has its place. Mhm.
Wow.
Yes. And when we look at nature, we want to be able to relate to that. You have your place, and it's really important, just like that blade of grass. Mhm. Yes, Laura.
You have to feel that way about weeds. I mean, they're growing. Oh, wow. I've been pulling them with all
Yeah,
our, we have many, many, many.
yes.
Do you
So
think
just
that's a product of the dark side?
no, the weeds are actually herbs. So we are just trained to think that they're weeds, but they're actually medicine, some of them, most of them.
Yeah, some of them, right, but
Mhm.
Some are annoying. Is anybody online tonight familiar with a series called Alone? It's
Mm,
been running for almost 10 seasons and it was just introduced to Stefan and I. So we're watching it on Crave to catch up, but it
mhm.
also runs in Canada on a Wednesday night. So the premise of it is 10 men are dropped into remote locations. Right now, they're at the northern tip of Vancouver Island, which is very unforgiving. They're only allowed to bring 10 items with them, and they have to film it. So they provide them with professional camera equipment so they can document things. The end game is the last person to stay wins $500,000, and it's since gone up to $1 million. Talk about fortitude and resiliency. They have to bear the elements, find food, clean water, and on the West Coast, there's like 1,000 cougars, 7,000 bears, and how many wolves? And so they're up against the elements as well.
Wow.
It's very captivating because we're almost finished season 1.
Yes, we finished season 1 last night.
We finished season 1.
Oh, well, yeah.
Every person that went a fair distance, one guy tapped out after one night. He was surrounded by bears. He had 2 bears outside his lean-to. So, but they all talk about being a changed person, about what they value, what's important, how much turning on a tap of water really means something to you now. So, and I'm learning a lot. For example, there's a certain type of moss that you can pour water through that will filter it because it's got iodine.
Wow. Nice. Okay, thank you for that. Laura, did you want to add something?
I should have asked this question a few slides ago, but it's taken me a minute to process the synchronicity that I'm experiencing with my day and this image that came up in the slide. Have you had those snakes in this slideshow already? And I'm so I didn't see them last time, and today I really saw them. And it just resonates with some imagery that I woke up with this morning. Not snakes, but the same kind of postures. The 2 versions of the snake for me came through as yarn or thread. And it was so on my mind this morning that I wrote quite extensively on it. And then when I was doing my day 27 with ChatGPT, I had a complete digression into this whole yarn and wool thing. So that's going to be, I said, I apologize to the viewers. I said, sorry, this is what you get when you're watching an unedited project, right? But anyways, so I just wanted to ask the question, am I just seeing this, or was it in last week? And it was. So there you go. It was not. So it just, I just needed to clarify.
Yeah, it's been actually, I talked about this, I think, in the last chakra too.
Okay.
With Michael and the snake, because we knowing about the suffering that we created, and we're here really for that to dissipate now, transmute it and dissipate all the suffering, but it's with gratitude for it. So that's why it's been brought up many times.
Well, in this case, because on your next slide, you have the snake flowing, right?
Yes.
Instead of curled and coiled and poised and doing all of that stuff. And that was it was like the 2 images I had was the one that resonates with this snake is that ball of yarn that you've tossed on the floor and is now beautifully just unraveling in its own higgledy-piggledy way. And even it'll start to fray and so this beautiful sort of flow. Whereas the other one's getting all the diversity, all the stuff is getting threaded and wound together to be used as thread and only thread. So there's a big difference between, that tight focused stance and tightness of flow, constriction versus the flowing. And that was the 2 images. So I'm just really struck by basically those 2 images were so relevant to me today. So I just need to clarify. Thank you for that.
Good. This snake looks a bit tangled up. Tangled up, and then this one's untangled.
So
and that's what happens to us. We get tangled up in the grudgements and the resentments, and we fight each other. And that's what I was looking at in all these readings with the staff today. It was tangled up old ways of being, and really being able to laugh and see the higher perspective. Because if we're going to come to peace here, we've got to untangle our own stuff and be able to laugh.
Yeah, and so for me, the tangled, it was just watching it be spooled. that wool getting smaller and smaller, and they made it a thread and then spooled and spooled and spooled. And
Beautiful.
so different in flow from the ball of yarn dancing across the floor.
Yeah, beautiful.
Getting
Thank-
unspun. And so my question was, is AI going to help us in which direction? Become more tightly spooled? Or is it going to help us be unspun?
Yeah. Oh, neat. That's a great question. Okay. And Stefan, or no, Lillian or Ken?
Yes.
Mhm.
I just wondered if the snake had the same meaning in the Bible,
Yeah.
in
Oh,
Genesis.
in which one? In Genesis?
Yeah, because at the very beginning, the snake entices them to eat the apple or something like that.
Yes,
Don't
that's the one. Yep, that's the one Archangel Michael is talking about. And if you want to go deeper into that, just go to Truth on my site because he explains it in great detail. You can listen to him talk about it. We won't get to Truth for a while. So if you want to skip ahead and look at that, it's really fascinating. Somebody called Apple calls in and gets into an argument with him about it. It's fascinating. Okay. So, yeah. So we're here to remember we're on a heavenly holiday. And so that's the laughter and the giggles and even through the suffering. So they really want us to get to that point where we unravel the resentments, the grudges, everything that tangles us up and feels punishing, whether it's from family or wherever it's coming from, to be able to be in our soul, our universal self, and see the bigger picture. And that we all came on an adventure. We knew we were going to get tangled up, and that was part of the adventure. But now it's time to come to peace and be able to master our own feelings about different situations, whether it's pain in the body or with another being or a situation. And water, drinking water is really important because this connects to the Divine Mother, and the water is the mother energy and a conductor of electricity. Proper hydration directly improves our body's electrical conductivity through our tissues. Dehydrated tissue resists our thoughts and feelings of the qualities. Well-hydrated tissue conducts them. And then if you go to what Dr. Masuro Emoto did, the Japanese doctor, where he photographed water that had been blessed and water that had been told not nice things. And you can see what happens. The water that was blessed turns into the most beautiful crystals, and the water that isn't, this is what we do to ourselves when we judge. The water inside ourselves does that. So we really, really want to focus on loving the self, because then the water within the body and the light within the body becomes crystalline. What this man did was incredible. So just to remember, that's what happens, how important it is to be really anchored in the divine qualities. So the mother, when we learned about surrender, when I did that whole slideshow about surrender, there was a question, how can I love myself? And she said it begins with forgiveness, and then it begins with laughter. So that's the blue energy of peace and self-love, blessings, faith, trust, hope. And then the golden energy is our golden grid that's all around us. It is our soul, actually. It's the biggest field around the body, and it's the biggest field around the planet. And it's joy, which is gratitude and balance, alignment, connection, self-worth. We're all lacking in self-worth, the qualities, the virtues, the tools, but especially laughter. If you can get to the laughter, you're there. And that's what Michael said too, when we learned about in the law of intent, the second chakra, the pubic chakra. And Michael said to take a sword, but before we do that, to laugh, because then the old energy, it just dissipates. invoke Michael and let him cut all the ties that bind. So there's that we learned as well. So that's the elimination of all fear that they were talking about. But that laughter is so important. It's really hard to do too. When we were going into the past lifetimes and what people had gotten up to, and I was explaining some of my past lifetimes, and we were laughing about it together, it untangles everything, and you get to a point where you're looking at it as if you're your angel self, and you can see the reason why. And you can just go, wow, did I ever get tangled up? And laugh. Mm. So let's surround ourselves. This is a great way to bring in that higher perspective, is to surround ourselves with the mighty ones. So let's place Archangel Michael along that door wall that's around, in your house, the room that you're in. Even if you're lying down at night in your bed, you can surround yourself with the mighty ones. Michael and Raphi with the green, and Uriel with the silver, and Archangel Jophiel with the magenta amethyst. That's our mastery. And that's Saint Germain as well, and Jesus, Lord Maitreya, who is now our planetary logos. It's all this magenta color. The Buddha's this color as well. And then in the middle, place Archangel Gabriel and the golden spiral, our ascension spiral, and Sanat Kumara with the scales of balance for universal law. Okay, and let's do our breathing and dropping down into the heart and just contemplating the tri-flame for a moment. So breathe. Whatever color comes to you, hold it for a moment in both hemispheres of your brain. And then on the out breath, drop down into your heart space, into that emerald green inside of you. Breathe that green energy. This is the perfect balance of the masculine and the feminine, the mother and the father, source energy, the oneness. And then feel into your tri-flame. The divine spark is right in the center of your heart chakra. There's two places you can access it. It's right at the base, the tip of the solar plexus, or at the center of your heart chakra. And feel into the blue flame of the mother. She's infusing us right now with healing, with the knowing that everything is forgiven. So that ability to be that forgiveness of self. And then feel into the golden flame of the Father. This is our self-worth. This is the action piece. We move into joy when we're at a certain level of forgiveness. It's much easier. And this is your divine alignment. The gold is really your power. And then feel into the pink in the center. This is your grace. This is loving action as well. So each of the colors is stillness, but they're also movement as well. Okay. Beautiful. And just open your eyes when you're ready. And this is a definition for the blessing and virtue of awe. Awe is the ability to feel and experience always and fully the wonders of creation, the divine, the knowing that there is always more to learn, to experience, to understand, to know that our understanding and experience of God is limited, but the promise of further growth holds true. So it sometimes can mean you go into some suffering to heal that for yourself on another new level, deeper level, or you're helping the collective. So just know, just try and get to the point where it's a thing to bless. It is the innocence of the small child within, the sense of awe, the sense of wonder. It is the sense of understanding the magnificence of the universal plan, the unfoldment. It is the thrill, the expectation, and joy at being, simply being, and enjoying the new miracles that unfold, always waiting for the next one and expecting the next one. It is the relation of purity. It is the color of yellow saffron. So this is the blessing and virtue connected to the umbilical chakra. So we're going up the ladder from the root to the pubic to the sacral, and now we're in the umbilical. From the first dimension to the second to the third to the fourth, we're now in the magic. Wonder and miracles, the law of change with the mother, knowing we are never changing because we're completely made of love. We're source energy and we're ever changing, ever evolving. There is always something new. That is awe. Okay. So remembering the biggest thing is letting go of the doubt, the suffering, just to let it go, let the snake slide away. And this was in the last session. When we invoke the laws of balance and change for heart-centered community solutions. There's so much going on the planet. We need more and more change to balance in all the systems on the planet. The mother says this flow of love, this infinity of love never stops. And inside that, as it comes to you, simply as life force, as inspiration, as ideas, as energy to keep you going. So they're infusing that tri-flame in the heart daily. That's why it's super fun to go in and contemplate that flame, because there's always more that's coming in for us to be in awe about. So now we're on to the law of change, and the mother says, we are here to create, and that cannot stop. So when you think of this law of change, really what it is asking is, what are you doing with every moment of your life? And she has some questions for us. Am I keyed into the infinite creation and expansion of the mother? Or am I hiding in a hole? And I found this really cute snake in a hole. Am I cowering in fear? Am I limiting myself? She says that time of being outside the law of change, of denying the law of change, is over. That is why she has stepped forward this day. So the laws are connected to the chakras, and the chakras are in every single one of us. So just know, when you're embodying the laws, you're really embodying them. So not being outside the law of change, but working with it, being in the flow. Look at that snake, he's so cute. Okay, so let's invoke the mother, Sanat Kumara, and the law of change to get in the flow, basically. Into that surrender. So basically into the surrender, and then let it flow out. And then it's way easier to know why we're here and to jump into action once we've done the surrender piece. And you can get into that mastery of gratitude and laughter for the suffering, for the pain, for the suffering. Prudence, which we'll come up to in 2 chakras, is the release of all addiction. So Michael says we're kind of addicted to pain. So when you let go of that addiction to the suffering, prudence is really, you can see all the different colors here. It's blue, it's green, it's yellows and peaches and pinks. So it's really being in that state of apology to the self. Quick apology if we do a judgment, for knowing about forgiveness, love, gratitude. There we go. This is the gratitude, the laughter, the awe, the grace. So it's prudence is really, it spins below the heart chakra and right above it. So it's really a powerful divine quality. So the mother goes on, she says, you have all witnessed children who put their hands over their eyes and think because they cannot see you that you have disappeared. It is very sweet, but many of you have done this and thought, if I can't see it, then it will disappear and I will not have to deal with this constant change. The constant change is the gift, my beloved friends. It is the gift of infinite becoming, of such expansion that you would marvel. And you know, it's interesting. Just before I came into this session, I was looking at some things and this YouTube of China and how advanced they have become with these extraordinary technology and constructions, and I can't wait to look at it again tonight. So that is expansion that I wasn't expecting to see. So it's happening all around us. We just need to get North America right into the flow of this excitement of the higher realms. Now, you did not come to this earth or to this lifetime with limited capacities. You brought the totality of your mastery, the totality of your talents, your capacities, your capabilities, your abilities, anchored in your human form, your mind, your heart, your body, your will. So the question is, with each moment, which is a brand new opportunity, what are you creating? Are you in that infinite flow? Have you accepted and have you paid attention? Where are you in your cycle of creation? Are you in the formulation of inspiration and simply listening and dreaming, which is magnificent and playful and gleeful and fun? Are you in the point of your cycle where you are planning and putting the pieces together? Are you in implementation? Are you in the action? Are you in the fulfillment? And then starting to believe and think about what your next undertaking will be. So we are a creator race, and getting into that creative flow is really exciting, even if it's something small, like what Jane and Stefan are doing, collecting rocks for their garden. I mean, it's exciting, it's fun. So just go with whatever you're doing. If it's learning more about something, if it's going deeper into letting go something, like pretend that it is a creation no matter what. And life gets really exciting. And this is what she wants us to be, in this flow of creating every day, every moment, she says. And within each of these creations are a million small creations, because in each moment, the energy is shifting, expanding, moving. The law of change is the law of movement. But the core of that energy and your energy is constant, and it continues until the time you return. And even in that merger, that reemerger, there is movement. So the question isn't, do I like change? Do I embrace change? How do I manage change? And see how it's blue? It does point to healing. So no matter what you're doing, it is healing. Like when I was becoming a reader, every reading that I do, not only is it a healing for, it's a healing for many, on many levels. So its change is really connected to the mother and the healing. So it's an interesting way to look at it. So not to fear change. It's just that we're expanding with the change, we're expanding no matter what we're doing. It is the deeper acceptance and allowance. This is the law of the universe. So always, on every level, even for the mighty ones who've been here the longest, there's always more. What are the universal laws except what we have laid down to help you understand how things work? And it's the healing. Change, the healing change is constant and continuous. And these CON words, the RE words and the CON words really connect to the blue of the mother. So she says, so let me show you, let me help you, not only with the acceptance, but invoking this law of change, to work with it, to be in the flow, to be the constancy of creation, to then be the mirror, not only of the Mother, Father, One, but the truth of who you are, infinite, evolving. So every one of us is the law of change. And when we embrace that and accept that, it's easier, it feels easier to really know that that's how things work. And you can see, you can be with the mother. She's everywhere. She's reminding us she is the change and that we are a reflection of her, just like nature. So she is the change. We are the change. We are the healing. She is the healing. So, and if you feel stuck, just invoke really, and I know it's hard when you're struggling with an old energy, it's hard to remember. It's just we get tangled up in it. But if you can keep remembering, I'm here to invoke, and invoking brings me into the flow, into the alignment. Invoke her, and she will come and help you. Or surrender and listen to your guides, or like all these different tools that we're being given. There's the surrender one. Just surrender, just lie down and just don't do anything with it. Just let the energy just move through you. She says, do not think simply because you have arrived in the fifth dimension with Gaia that the journey is done. So we're we're learning about the fourth right now, which is super magical. It's where the fairies are. It's where we're beginning to transmute energy. The fifth dimension, so the next chakra that we're going to learn about, the solar plexus, is really managing change with gratitude. So right now we're in the fourth, but she's saying we're already in the fifth. We're in all the dimensions. We just don't realize it. But she says, do not think simply because you have arrived in the fifth dimension with Gaia that the journey is done. Dear heart, you have only started, and you are not limited to one dimension or another. Your playground is very large. Your palette is very large. The human realm, 12 dimensions, 12 levels within each of those dimensions, and then some fine tuning. So let us begin. She says, what do you wish to do with this change? So the way that Albert explained the dimensions is there's usually 12 around a planet and 12 levels within each dimension. The dimensions are classrooms, the levels are classrooms. And we're going in and out of these classrooms, these levels, these dimensions all the time without even realizing it. So say you go really deep into forgiveness of something, that's a level in a dimension. Or say you want to laugh, or you want to work with gratitude. It's different levels and different dimensions. So they're just different classrooms where we're learning to master who we truly are. So she asks us, what do you wish to do with this change? And she says, welcome it and work with it. Yes, Stefan.
Okay, so have you got a summary of the 12 dimensions and the 12 levels anywhere? Like as a label, like labeled in any way, or like you talk about forgiveness being a dimension and that kind of thing, right? And so do you have like each of the levels within forgiveness, for example? And do you have a summary of, because I'm very visual, I like to be able to see the big picture very clearly, and then it helps me to learn that way. Is that something that you have, or?
So remember that chart that you have with the chakras, the 13 chakras that
Yeah.
do, and then it correlates with the different dimensions. It goes right across. It goes into the blessings and virtues. It goes into the universal laws, and then it goes into the dimensions. And they don't break down the levels of the dimensions. That is very
Individual?
yeah, I don't think we need to know. It's much more complicated than we realize. So we don't need to know the exact levels, the 12 levels in each dimension. I know that I have asked specifically, oh, which level am I in when I'm working with something? And they will let us know, but it's not something that has been written down. But you have the basics of each dimension in that chart.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Kathleen, don't you have to have a certain vibration to move up in the levels?
No,
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 you don't.
because you are a master.
Okay.
Yes. And it's easier to access the different dimensions when you're in that gratitude for everything, when you're laughing about everything, when you've forgiven everything. It's much easier, but we do have access to all 12.
Okay.
And it's through the different chakras, and your chakras are within. And when you work with them and you're spinning them, you're actually accessing the classrooms, the dimensions. Yeah, and that's why we're doing them one by one. We're spinning them open one by one. Yeah,
Thank you.
with the conscious understandings. Ken or Lillian.
One of the things that popped into my head is it's almost like juggling balls. Does that make sense?
Yeah, except they're all they're aligned inside of us. So they're not really being thrown up in the air. That's interesting. You might be able to think of it that way. Yeah, because it's spiraling energy. I'll try and work with that. I'll have an answer next week. Okay. So the mother says, welcome the change and work with it. Understanding, you can say to me, things aren't flowing. You can complain to the mother if things are not working, and then talk to her. And she says, well, dear heart, that is simply not true. Things are constantly flowing. So what you're saying to me is things are not flowing in the way that I desire. And she says, and that is very different, because then I ask you, stop. And this is the surrender piece. And she's always saying the expansion is found in the stillness. So if everything is going haywire, if you can just lie down, surrender, and stop, that's where the expansion will come, the knowing will come, the information will come. And she says, yes, even though the energy continues flowing, stop, think, feel, and redirect yourself into that flow so it can be working with you in ways that are harmonious and in keeping not just with our truth, so the higher realm truth, but with yours, so your truth. And she reminds us, you are magnificent. You would not be here at this time of change, and she says rapid change, if you were not up to it, if you were not fully prepared and competent. My trust in you knows no bounds, and my knowing of what you are capable of knows no bounds. So stop hesitating, stop denial, and get in the flow, sweet angels. I am with you. So that's why I put this big picture of her in behind this, and the little snake, the snake in the hole. So yeah, she's always with us, and she's a call away. Invoking is a really powerful action. It is universal law for the being to show up when we invoke. And there's no time on the other side, and they're fully capable of coming to many, many, many people at once. So if you invoke and you're really wanting to know answers, invoke and then be still, because they are talking to us all the time. It's just that it's telepathy, and everyone knows telepathy. So it's not going to be like English, like this is the answer to your question. It's in the stillness and in the remembering, and you'll get images or just deep knowing, or like I've had whole concepts drop in, and it's just like, oh, right. How could I forget that? Yes, Darren.
Can we set up blocks to hearing those answers as well? And how would we clear those?
What could you set? Let's say that again. Could you set up blocks? You mean put up blocks yourself so that you're not hearing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have say, energies around us that are blocking the higher vibrations or our connection with source or mother.
Well, that's a belief system.
Yeah, but we got to clear that first, right?
Well, if you go into the heart and if you're consciously knowing that that's what you want, then being in the heart space, there's no blocks in there.
Okay, but even if you go in the heart space, wouldn't it be clouded by these beliefs?
Well, you know that you're a master. So why
Uh,
would you in your mastery put a block, especially in the heart?
well, they seem to come by themselves. I don't set them up necessarily.
Well, is that doubt and suffering that Archangel Michael is talking about?
Probably doubt. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt
Okay.
it's doubt.
Okay, so then that's a human creation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's surrendering that. It's it's really being still.
Okay, so is that surrendering part of that clearing process or clarifying that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Oh,
Yes, and yes.
okay.
Yeah, that is the most important one. Being able to just, recognize, here I'm struggling. I need to just stop, like the mother said, stop and surrender.
Yeah, except that stopping is not always as easy as just saying it.
Well, it's practice. I mean, that's what we're
No,
here to master, that stillness.
yeah,
Because,
exactly. But it takes practice to master that, right?
um, well, yes, it's conscious awareness to know that you can do it. You are here and you know how you're a master of this. You came in with that mastery. Though that is the mastery. It's not like playing the piano. Mastery isn't playing the piano. It's being in the stillness and knowing that's where everything's going to come to you, your heart's desires.
Yeah,
And knowing about the tri-flame too, because they're infusing that tri-flame all the time with healing, with action, like with joy, with, you know, who you are. It's being filled all the time. So when you're contemplating that, as I said, that is the most important thing I've ever done, is contemplate that tri-flame, because there's no blocks there. There's
yeah,
just healing and awakening and truth, and then the action steps, the inspiration to move into action.
yeah, I agree. Once you get into the stillness, there's no blocks for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just going into your heart and sensing that tri-flame. If you're having a hard time with the stillness, just go in and sense the tri-flame. Have you
Well,
worked
there's,
have you worked with the tri-flame?
yeah, for sure. But I think the mind tends to get in the way there. You know, the mind, unless you can still the mind, you're not going to get into the heart, I don't think, clearly. Yeah.
But that's why you physically drop down into the heart, because then you're out of the mind. That's
Yeah.
that movement of, I'm gonna breathe the energy into my brain, and then I'm gonna leave it there. You can leave that energy there to keep with balancing it, and drop down into the heart, into the emerald green, and then contemplate the dry flame. If you're having trouble with just surrendering into the stillness.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm getting better at it, obviously, but, you know, still sometimes the mind gets in the way.
Okay, and then do you fly through the pinprick of light, the truth in the bottom of the tri-flame, into the golden temple?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, and because they're in there, you're in the gold, you're in your self-worth, you're out of your mind, you're really in your purpose, you're in your mission. That's what's in there. Like, there's so
Yeah,
many
well,
ways to come into that stillness.
yeah, that's true. But sometimes the monkeys act up.
Well, so Nakamura just said, let them be like fluffy clouds and float away. Keep breathing. Breathing is really powerful, focusing on the breath.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It is a practice. But we are here to be creating as well. So when you are creating your heart's desires, you're really excited about it. That's why we're here. So the surrender piece is just like it's a momentary thing. And then move into that creation and be out in the world with the people creating, because that's what the mother says. When we're creating, we're out of the old suffering. Like it becomes a thing of the past because you're so excited about what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the focus is surrender. I think the surrender is momentary, and then get really excited about why you're here and move into action, because that's really exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. And then she says, one of the things that I would ask of you, because it does begin with each of you, and yes, there's a great deal of chaos and turmoil at the surface right now, because it has need to be eliminated, and that is part of the constant movement. So you can think of it in this way. The tide is in, but dear hearts, the tide will go out, and it will carry all that jetsam and flotsam that you are referring to, and it will be transmuted and changed into things of beauty. But one of the things that occurs, it is very easy. Do not forget, I've been in form at one point, so I know what it is to be in the human element of upheaval. But what happens is you look at to the larger world and you say, this is insanity. And I would suggest, particularly at this time when Michael has his work cut out for him, it does look like a great deal of insanity because it is not of love. And the reason I put the breathe up here is because you can work with the breath for the tide to come in and the tide to go out. So when you breathe out, just know that you're letting go the flotsam and the jetsam, the old belief systems that create suffering. So conscious breathing, really important. Know that on every breath out, you're letting it go, you're letting it go, you're letting it go until you're in the flow of change and you're super excited about something. So, what did she say? Because it is not of love. The insanity in the world is not of love. It is of lack. It is lack of self-love and lack of self-worth and lack of understanding that the person across the aisle or across the planet is your brother or sister. So it is easy to become frozen in fear or frozen in overwhelm, but there is a very simple remedy to that, and it is each of you every single day creating. And that is why I've instructed Linda the channeled through her a meditation to create what your heart desires, the change that you need, desire, and want in this moment, this eternal moment of now. And we're going to do that meditation next week. But it's really simple. And if you want to review it and listen to it, you just go into the law of change. But it is a great one. Darren, actually, you might enjoy that meditation connected to the law of change, because it does,
Okay.
it actually works with exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, great.
And it's breathing and letting it go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Every single day creating. So, and when you're creating, you are excited. I know Jane and I are, on the board of a small society, and we have these meetings and little ideas come up because we're not in any big changes right now or big flow of creation, but Jane's always thinking of something new for us to do. So yeah, and it's exciting. And then you get to think about it and contemplate it and move into it eventually. But even with what I'm doing, all the readings and everything every day, what Laura is doing, what Lorraine is doing, like we're all kind of in this like excitement of purpose and change
Okay.
and flow. Mhm. So every single day creating to create what your heart desires, the change that you need, desire, and want in this moment, this eternal moment of now. And the change can be to let go all the blocks, like Darren was talking about. That's huge change, to be able to let them go and really focus on what it is that you came, your purpose. Mhm. Okay. And don't forget to invoke, because that'll bring it really quick. Yeah, and that's a good one too, Darren, just to invoke the mother and then be still and listen. Mhm. And know to surrender. And when you do the surrender, you're really bringing in the healing, which is the release of the snake, the doubt, the blocks. That's really what it's for. And if you can come into that appreciation, awe, and gratitude and laughter, it really is helpful. That's the beginning of transmutation. And transmutation, the law of transmutation and dissipation is really just being grateful, and then the old energy just dissipates. So Darren, if you can be grateful for those blocks and laugh, they will dissipate. You can invoke the law of transmutation and dissipation as well. And put yourself, remember how we learned how to cup our hands and put the miniature stage in your hand? Put yourself in there and blow gratitude on yourself. That will dissipate all the blocks. And do it every day until they're gone.
I got a fun way of getting rid of blocks. I just take a laser to them.
Okay, but are they coming back though? Is that why you asked the question?
No. Those ones don't normally come back. No.
Okay, well there you go. That is a very galactic way to do that. What color is the laser?
It's normally white.
Oh yeah, the white light. Of course, that would do it. That's purity. You came in on that. There's no blocks in purity. Yeah, that's the unconditional love of the higher realms. So you're loving the blocks basically, and that's the key.
Well, I'm loving the process too.
Yes, good. Yes, we did all come to create this peace on the planet, and it just begins inside of us and then extends out. And even if our families aren't in the same flow that we are, we're sending them that energy. And anytime we're in their company, we are just flowing that love and that change to them. That joy, that laughter, and eventually everybody's going to be in the same joy. Yes, that energy, it just flows right out. It goes out really quickly. So remember what Dr. Emoto did. We want to be in that crystalline energy within the body, not the old grudges and resentments and pain and suffering. That distorts the water in the body. We want to be in the crystalline energy. And Lao Tzu did talk to us about that the flow of love and the crystalline form is what's happening to our physical forms. They're becoming crystalline. So let's invoke awe and the universal laws of above and below, within and without, and change to bring forth the magic of the fourth intangible reality for each of us. And yes, gratitude. When you tune into the energy of gratitude for pain, it manifests healing really fast. And you can laugh about the pain. You're there. Easier said than done. It's a practice. It is our mastery. We can do it. Yeah. So let's say thank you to Albert Einstein and Archangel Jophiel and the Mother and Gaia and the higher realms for this amazing teaching. And any questions or comments about what we discussed here tonight? No, we're good. Okay. So let's move into our sending. Oh, Ken or Lillian.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it in terms of faith.
Faith or fate?
Faith.
Faith,
PH.
yes. Yes, absolutely. That's blue energy. That's the mother. Trust and faith. Yes. Having faith in what?
in the process?
Yes, that's a great one. Yes, faith in surrender. I love that. And the whole process. Yes. Yes. The mother says the healing is love, trust, which is like faith, forgiveness, unity, connectedness, and balance. So yes, faith is a big part of it. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So let's do our 10 minutes of sending. Does anyone have anyone specific they'd like us to send energy to?
About the wildfires.
Oh,
Yes, that's a good idea. Do you have wildfires in Alberta, Darren?
No, we don't.
Okay.
But very few.
Okay. So the wildfires, are you talking about the ones in British Columbia?
Yeah, mainly, yeah.
Yes. So what happened in Summerland, which is in our Okanagan, the whole town, all 12,000 people were evacuated to
wow.
the town of Penticton. And what they've been saying is that Penticton has been incredible. They've opened their houses, their fridges, their spaces for 12,000 people.
Wow.
Oh. That's a unification.
Mm.
There is method behind this madness of these wildfires. And I have a story to tell about my own brother. He has big property up north, and the fires ripped through his ranch land. But what he'd been preparing for was a big celebration, and he had been clearing and clearing and clearing and building roads. So what he did was the firefighters were able to use his roads, come into his property, and stop the fire from going farther along the valley. They actually stopped it.
Wow.
Wow.
My
Wow.
brother, and all his building and his like doing what he's been doing. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah. So the celebration has moved to a different venue because it's not possible to do it there right now. And everything's still in the flow. And the fire stopped.
Wow.
Mm.
Good plan. Good plan. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good
Little did he know.
builder. Yeah. He learned that from my dad to over-engineer everything. Yeah. Did you have something to say, Jake? Oh, the
Yeah.
what?
It reminds me of 9/11 when all the planes were halted in Gander, Newfoundland, and the whole
Yes.
community came together in a show of love and support and compassion. And many executives wrote about like they had never been so well treated and Fly Away Home. They made a movie out of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
I
right.
have a friend who was a flight attendant and ended up in Newfoundland. And it was so, she had been divorced and divorced for many years. Now she's an attorney. But after that, she decided to get married again because she didn't want to ever be alone and go through something like that by herself. And she did. But she said it was an incredible time.
Wow.
Truly.
Mm. Beautiful. So that's why we're here. So sometimes when these disasters are, it's a way to bring people together. I know it sounds pretty horrific, but I don't know. But well, let's send love to into the energy around the wildfires. Yeah, for the people. The
I'd
people.
like, I'm sorry. I'd just like to send some energy to my friend Joel.
Yes, I was going to ask about Joel. Okay, and Jane and I have a friend Karen as well. We'd like to send energy to Karen. And okay, excellent. Let's do it. I'll set my timer and we'll see everybody in 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I'm sure, and we'll ask everyone else around us to help as well. Thank you. Yes, they're all here. Okay. See everyone in 10. Okay. That is 10 minutes. Goes by fast. Okay. Is it getting easier to do this 10 minutes?
Oh yeah.
Yay.
I did start to snore for a little bit a second there, but Jane quickly set me straight.
Good job. That's so good. Yeah, no, it's easy to fall asleep. I know when we do our sound baths, and we have 25 people and someone starts snoring, usually the person that's with that person will give us.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Been there, done that too. I fall asleep instantly. So
Yeah.
I close my eyes, put my head down. I'll start snoring within seconds. And poor Jane, she's not like that. So
Oh, oh dear.
she's yeah. Anyway, it's a superpower that I have.
Yes, I know my dad could fall asleep anywhere, absolutely anywhere.
Yeah,
He'd have a 5-minute nap before dinner, like it was no big deal.
yeah, yeah. Easy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so anything else anyone wants to share or yeah.
I love the personal stories. I love you sharing things that have occurred in your week with readings, and just hearing the connections to stories really helps to cement it and just becomes more real.
Oh, good. Yes, and your sharing too is amazing. I
Thank
love,
you.
yes, that new series sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I don't usually go for these reality type shows, but it's pretty daunting what they're up against and how they have to manage their mental health as well as their physical. And the common thread was all of them were like, do my loved ones know that I love them enough? Am I a good enough person? What changes do I need to make? And all the men are crying. The ones that last more than a week, they're really getting in touch with their feelings.
Well, there's no distractions, is what they were getting at. That you're in your head in silence, and you've got to face into all of those emotions and
manage fears
yeah.
because of the environment. Like the weather is unrelenting. What the rain and the cold and the storms and trees whipping around, like their life is at risk. I mean,
Yes.
they get medical checks and they can tap out. They say, like, when they've crossed that threshold of I just don't want to be somebody's meal. But yeah, it really makes you thinking. It's going through the hard stuff that really sheds the skin of.
I agree. Totally agree. It's very indigenous. So in the tribal ways, if the kids were acting out, they would be sent on something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a very shamanic thing that they would do where they would bury themselves in dirt. It was like a death, a metaphor for a death, and be out by themselves overnight and be like pretty much buried up to I'm not really sure how much they were buried, but yeah.
Wasn't there was a book, an author, I think Carlos Castaneda, wrote a book. Was it something about going out into the desert and doing some sort of similar ritual? Trying to think of the name of the book now.
Facing the self.
Profound.
Yeah, and you can do that whether you go to like a meditation thing where you're in silence.
Yes.
Vipassana. I know I did it for 9 months. I was telling someone about that today where I was just by myself learning the tarot, basically. And then the other one where it was a month just by myself and someone was bringing me food. You really face into the past, basically. And whether it's this lifetime or other lifetimes, whatever is guided, it's extraordinary. Yeah. But yeah, that is a way. That's why they always say meditate, meditate, meditate. Because the information is through the heart. Yeah. And whether those guys are doing it extreme. Oh my gosh, that's really extreme. When I was up in Haida Gwaii recently in May, it was freezing. And
Truly.
the storms that would come in were instant. And all of a sudden you'd go from bright sunshine to like storm clouds. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
really volatile. So
Yeah.
it's wild. Yeah. And kudos to them for doing that.
Mhm. I'm being inspired by it. So it takes a lot to get from my attention when it comes to television because I'd rather read and experience, but kind of enjoying it.
It's like the Canadian Survivor.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Well, there is Canadians in it. There's all kinds of people from all over, different ages, and yeah, really cool.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is the way through the debris, that's for
Yeah.
sure. But there's a million ways to do it. So that's one way. So however, everyone, the way Laura's doing it, and she's, talking to AI, that's another way. There's so many
Exactly.
different ways to do it. Yeah. Uh-huh. And it's so fun looking at Marion because she's got this light around her that
No, I
looks
do. I'm trying to avoid it. And it is, unfortunately, I changed locations and now I'm faced with the light that is there. Okay.
you are the light.
Change.
You're right in the middle of my screen too. It's great. And the light is coming through.
Mhm. Stay in the light, Marion.
Thank you. I was, and I'm trying to keep it out of everybody else's eyes.
It's okay. Okay, so next week we're going to go into that meditation. If you want to experience it, I fully it's a wonderful thing to do. Just go into my site through the yellow circle and scroll down. It's a beautiful thing to experience. But that we'll be going through it word by word next week.
Sounds good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good. Thank you everybody for coming. Really appreciate
Thanks,
everything.
Kathleen.
Thank you. Sweet dreams and many blessings this week. The 12th is a solar eclipse, is it not?
Something like that. The energy
Yeah.
is loud and long and expansive. And remember to laugh. If you get tied up in the knots, come out of it and laugh, or hold yourself and just love yourself and be grateful for yourself because you're doing so much more than meets the eye. That's right. Okay, good. My
Much love, everybody. Blessings.
there with all of you.
Fun times until we meet again.
Go
Take
Have a great
care.
week, everyone. Thank you, Kathleen.
Good night.
Good
Take care.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm trying to get out of there so I'm not the last one in here, but it's not work,